Yo, what is up, guys? My name is Sandworld. Now, some of you guys follow me on Snap and know I've been working on music. I always like to post little snippets of it, but at the same time I like to post something educational as well, like, oh, this space comes from this plugin that no one has seen before. Always end with a root note at the end of your drops. It goes into the breakdown a little bit more smoothly and so forth, stuff like that. So this is a track I haven't really shown, and I wanted to, it's one that I started working on about 2 hours ago, and it's pretty much almost done, the whole idea of it. Now, I'm going to be showing you guys the whole track, as in the elements of it, the drop. I'm going to skip through it, of course, but I'm going to show you that because in order for me to teach you how to make an intro for a track, I need to show you the elements and how they're going to fit into the intro. Now, there are various ways, of doing an intro. That's why I'm going to call this just intro theory, because everyone's going to have their own way. Some people like to have kicks, claps, drums, and that's it, effects. Other people like to add little snippets, and other people just go straight haywire and go for a fucking crazy-ass intro where it's like, holy shit, it sounds like a drop. So for me, I grew up listening to dance music since 2006 and so forth. So I used to listen to Kiss FM, and it's a station here in Los Angeles. And they always have this club night on Saturday. So every time I would come home from certain things with my parents, they would put that station. And I would like to hear the mix the DJ would do. Now, whenever I approach the intro, I always think of, okay, this song I'm making might eventually be someone's favorite song. That's the way I approach it, even if it sucks. Who cares? And I'm like thinking, okay, what can I add to the intro to kind of tease the drop, to tease the people that love this track? Because I'll tell you guys, I used to love this song by Britney Spears called Toxic, and I think Armin van Helden or someone like that made a remix of it, and I remember people would mix that in around the era of like 2009, 2010. And I always like that feeling of hearing it coming in, and you're like, oh my god, it's coming, and you're just waiting for it. So that's my perception on the intro. So let me show you the track first, and we'll go from there. So the drop comes from a bass. It's going to be a bass drop, and I used the MIDI for this, I'm not going to lie. Back when I used to make trance a lot in 2010, 2012, I used to suck at making rhythms for the rolling basses and for like buzz basses, which is like dun, 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 stuff like that. So I got these packs from Freshly Squeezed Samples that have bassline rhythms and all this cool stuff. So I had those, so I couldn't come up with a bass rhythm for this track, so I thought, okay, I'm going to look through those, and I found one. And then I added the melody I had in my head to it. So this is going to be the drop for this. Okay, then we have this fill. Have this element here, which is the hipster. It's a cool sound. Oops, elevator right there. And then we have a sub, and then we have the drums and all this cool stuff. Very important to remember those elements, because I'm going to add these in the intro. I'm going to add shots of this. I'm going to add shots of this. I'm going to add shots of this here. Now, here is the break. That's my break. I don't think I'm going to add any kind of melodic shit like this, but just keep in mind that's the sound, and we're going to work with this sound in the intro as well. But then the cool thing about this sound is in the second drop, it keeps this pattern going. Second drop just has those extra elements added, which are going to be these right here. Okay, so knowing that, I can add little shots of these in the intro, so we're going to start with that. Now, the intro, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the kick. I always like to start with the kick. Some people like to start with only a ride or a clap. It depends on the genre. I'm going to start with the kick, and I know the kick is going to go all the way. I'm going to now be working with a 30-second kind of intro, where at the 45-second mark, we're going to have like this sort of build. I know this is going to be around 16 bars. 16 bars marks the 30-second mark at 128 BPM. I'm at 124, so obviously it's not going to be exactly at 30 seconds, but you guys get my drift. So we're going to keep it going here, but at the 25-second bar, at the end of that one, sorry, at the start of that, that's when we want pretty much this. So that's going to be that. Okay, so we got to work to that. That's the idea of the intro here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add these shots, which start in the second drop, which are going to be these. Copy that and just paste it over here. And it's going to start straight from the beginning and all the way through. Now, at the 30-second mark, or at this last 16th bar, I want to add the fill from the first drop, which is probably going to be in the second one, which is this part here. This is going to be sort of like a tease, like, okay, I know this fucking song. That. So we're going to copy, paste that here. This needs to be here. Okay, now at this part, that's where this bass is going to start coming in. We don't want to give away all of it, so we're not going to give it low end to it. Like that. Now, I'm not going to give it the whole melody because, again, I don't want to give it away, but it's going to give the first portion of the melody, don, 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 as you guys can see. So it's very cool. To it. So it sounds good. Now the drums are going to come in at straight from the start, so it doesn't sound so boring. Now I'm going to filter these guys in because I don't want them to just pop out of nowhere like bah, bah. You know, you guys get me. So by the time it reaches here, that's when it can be fully out and ready to rock. If I had a vocal, which I do here, but I'm still trying to find a good one for this track, then I would add snippets of it here. So let's assume this one is my vocal.
If you ain't feeling this, you ain't feeling this, you must be dead inside. Because this thing right here, this is house. Feeling this,
you can add snippets of this.
This is house.
Like, let me do this.
This house. This house.
So I want that house shot, so we can always add it in the front here.
House. 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 If you ain't feeling house. House. If you ain't feeling this, you must be dead inside. Because this thing right here, if you ain't feeling this, you must be dead inside. Right here, this is house.
Now I need to alert people that something's gonna happen here, so we're gonna need an impact or something like that at the 25th bar.
You ain't feeling this, you must be dead. If you ain't feeling
Now we need sort of like a riser just to let them know. Now this track is gonna be in the key of A, so we're gonna go with G and just hope it fits. It should, because G is part of the A minor scale. So we're just gonna add this here.
if you ain't feeling if you ain't feeling
Okay, that's too much. Maybe a noise should be fine. I think noise splash. You can go with that and just reverse it. Double click, reverse.
right here, this is house.
Okay, so as you guys can see, we cut stuff off there, and the intro again is just made up of elements from this. There's ways we can move this forward though. Like obviously we need a lot more effects, which we are gonna add. We're gonna add the exhaust in the intro actually first, right at the beginning. You can go without the drums. Then we have like that into the drums.
If you ain't feeling
Let's try and incorporate this motherfucker here too, you know?
if you ain't feeling this, you must be dead inside. House. This thing right here, this is house.
Okay, so yeah, I'm trying to think of how to incorporate this one, because it's gonna give away that cool rhythm, but I think it should be fine.
If you ain't feeling
And we're gonna filter this one in like this from the top. Instead of doing a low pass, we're gonna do a high pass into it.
cause this thing right here, this is house.
Sorry I keep playing the drop. I just really like the drop. That's just me though. And I also like this sound. It's fucking crazy. And it's just from synths that you guys like probably never heard of. Probably have, but never thought much about them. Like Hive is a really good one. This is pretty much all Hive. What I try to do sometimes with tracks is I'll try and fucking just go into a track with a new synth and just, you know, look for sounds that I like and maybe tweak them sometimes make my own variations of it, sometimes even make my own. But sometimes when I'm working on tracks, I go more towards presets just because of the idea that you have an idea in your head, and if you're stuck working on a sound for like 20 minutes, you might lose the momentum that you have with the idea. So the sounds in this are pretty cool. They come all from Hive, I believe. Yeah, they're all from Hive. The last track that you guys saw on my snap, it's all going to be the Yuhi Basile, which you guys can probably hear on there. I was going to show you the project, but I'll save that for another time. Now, the outro is going to be very similar to this. It's just going to be almost the opposite of it. You slowly take away instead of slowly adding. Now, things we could add to the intro still are going to be more like little effect, intricate shots. This intro sounds fine to me personally, but if you want to take it above and beyond, you certainly can. Now, the intro is meant for the DJ to obviously mix in, so you don't want to go that crazy either. So as you guys can see, the intro is fairly easy once you have the idea of the track done. Sometimes if you want to start at the intro and hope that it kind of inspires you to make something out of it, then you can do that. But I never start with my intros. I always try and get the main idea of the song done. That way the intro is just a fast process like you guys saw. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care and have a good one.